life taken a turn? Do troubles beset you? Has fortune left you behind?
How did you know all that? Fallout New Vegas has a very strong DLC library. It's one of many things about this game that went terribly right. There are 4 story expansions that will take us adventuring beyond the Mojave, and the 5th, smaller DLC that adds new weapons. In some ways, the Gunrunner's arsenal turned out to be the most important piece of the downloadable content, because it fixes the late-game economy, providing an additional money sink.
Hello.
Some of these new firearms are prohibitively expensive. The medicine stick. One day. The story DLCs can be done in any order, but it makes the most sense to start with Dead Money, a post-apocalyptic thriller and casino heist, chronologically the first expansion to be released. I wanted to make sure that despite the survival elements and the adventure story elements, there is something larger being told beneath the DLC's surface for people who care to delve into it, writes Chris Avalon, the project director for Dead Money and the author behind the cult classics Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Planescape Torment.
Has your life prepared you for what is to come?
Let's play the game and see what we can learn from Master Avalon. The adventure begins at the trading post, located about halfway between the dam and the city of Vegas.
No offense, but you look like you've traveled a long way down some bad roads.
Meet Veronica, a procurement specialist for the Brotherhood of Steel.
It pays like ass, but it's hard to get other work with my skill set.
The Brotherhood is a technocratic order of wasteland knights from California. They have something of an anti-growth mindset and rarely take new members.
We've had people go rogue, though, and start helping people. One chapter had a small civil war over it. We take our isolationism seriously.
She's talking about the Fallout 3 chapter, whose leaders did a sensible thing and began working with the local community on their East Coast. Fallout enthusiasts criticize this behavior as being antithetical to the Brotherhood values, but the way these conversations go, I suspect it's not the ideas that the fans didn't like, it's the execution. Building power among the locals is smart. It's just Fallout 3 is a Bethesda game, and every character talks to you like you're 10.
Used to drive Father Elijah crazy.
Veronica shares the story of her chapter. Led by the eccentric Elder Elijah, her mentor and a foster father kind of a figure, the Brotherhood expedition arrived at the Mojave with the goal of occupying the Hoover Dam.
He liked to learn limits too, but only so he could push them.
But then they got distracted. Elijah ordered the Paladins to stop at Helios 1, a pre-war structure, and this is how they missed their shot. The NCR got to the dam first. I wonder how history would have gone if the Brotherhood had controlled the dam. An idea for a Fallout 2 mod. They lost half of the chapter at the subsequent battle for Helios 1. The Knights were forced to retreat to a secure bunker near the Black Mountain. This is where they remain to this day, unable to wage open war against the NCR, but unwilling to change their policy to allow open recruitment. Veronica is tired of the dogma. It's time for the new things. This woman wants a dress.
Something that's eye-catching and sexy, but also says, don't fuck with me.
So Elijah was gone, presumed dead. His story ends here. Or does it?
Said he'd return with one of the greatest treasures of the old world. Make the Mojave like it was meant to be. Wipe the slate clean.
Eventually, the courier will pick up a mysterious radio broadcast.
If you need an escape from your troubles, or if you just need an opportunity to begin again, join us.
Tracing the source of the signal leads us to an abandoned Brotherhood bunker, Sierra Madre. This is simply too stupid to be a trap. Dead Money is a short story in the Fallout universe, a casino heist with post-apocalypse spin. The expansion has its own intro and ending slides, with Father Elijah doing the narration.
You've heard of the Sierra Madre Casino. We all have. The legend, the curses.
The City of the Dead, a shining monument luring treasure hunters to their doom. The game does a fine job pretending the Sierra Madre was previously established in the lore. The founder of this place is a pre-war tycoon named Frederick Sinclair. This is him in the Fallout show, and this is him in the game.
When I talk, listen.
Curiosity killed the cat. Well, it almost did. Enthralled by a mysterious siren, the courier was captured by the rogue Elder Elijah. He put an explosive collar around our neck, and if we fail to do what he says... The old man wants us to rob the impenetrable fortress that is the Sierra Madre Casino, a task that would be much easier if they didn't take away all our items. Alas, that was necessary for the game's survival mechanics to work. Step 1 of the plan is to gather a team. Elijah will be guiding us from objective to objective, like a Shawdan type of a presence.
It's the cloud. Eat your inside slowly.
Exclusive to the Sierra Madre is an airborne toxin called the Cloud. Being outside causes our HP to slowly go down. The Cloud is the main reason the casino was left undisturbed for so long.
The villa's comm speakers have aged poorly, like the Madre. Pre-war junk.
Another threat is the speakers. Elijah's eccentricity shows in this uncharacteristically dismissive attitude towards pre-war technology. It's a problem he didn't anticipate. Loudspeakers and radios interfere with the electronics of our collar. Once you hear the beeps, you have 10 seconds to disable the speaker before the collar detonates.
Like a radio.
And these are our hosts, the Ghost People, mutated individuals trapped inside hazmat suits. The Ghost People are supposed to be scary and threatening, more so than the Mojave regulars. We didn't set to make Dead Money a survival experience. We set out to make a horror game that puts survival second. In terms of horror, I don't think we succeeded, although it was a conscious effort to try and shake things up a bit with the enemies you faced. They make creepy noises and have a unique set of animations, but that just made me feel curious, not threatened. And while they are harder to kill, they also don't deal a lot of damage. Melee weapons work really well, even if you don't specialize in melee. Defeated Ghost People need to be dismembered, otherwise they eventually get up to fight again. Sounds like a problem, until you remember that it takes basically no effort to dismember people in Fallout New Vegas. A much more dangerous enemy are the holograms. Invincible and deadly, the only way of getting rid of them is by changing their patrol routes, by hacking computers, or by finding and disassembling holo emitters. The first half of the adventure, which is around 4 hours or so, is about exploring the maze-like environments of the villa, the residential area adjacent to the Sierra Madre Casino. We wanted to maximize the real estate. We couldn't build a whole other world for a DLC, so we paid more attention to what we put in and increased the gameplay density, writes Avalon. There is no quiet time. The player is in a permanent state of crisis. HP is always being drained. We are always running out of healing items. It was a good decision to visit the Sierra Madre a little under-leveled. The recommended level is 20, but coming here this experienced might trivialize some exploration challenges. And you know what? I'm glad I spent all our caps on the Nemean subdermal armor instead of the actually useful HP regen implant. It made the survival aspects of this much more fun.
The Nemean subdermal armor.
The villa section consists of several outdoor areas that use slightly different color filters, but otherwise feel identical. Meet Christine, our first team member. The brutalized woman is a victim of an auto-dock surgery. It took away her voice. Later, we'll learn that this is not the first time something like this happens to her. That is her torment. I got to finally try to write a torment. They communicate everything via text character for a modern-day role-playing game with Christine to see how that would be received. I liked it. It makes the dialogue go fast. Christine joins us after we explain our predicament. If one of our collars explodes, they all explode. If we die, she dies as well.
You all die.
Elijah designed the collars like this for a reason. We are not the first people he drafted. The henchmen always turn on each other once the casino is in reach. The seduction of the old world treasure. Connecting the collars is a way of forcing us to work together.
Don't let him make me hurt myself. Hurt keeps him away.
The second companion is waiting at the police station, but it's not us they're waiting for. Dog is a nightkin, a servant of Elijah. He kidnaps travelers and brings them to the villa. That's why Sierra Madre was misspelled. His torment is that he shares the body with another personality. We can switch between them by playing a voice recording.
Dog, back in the cage.
Dog serves Elijah, but God hates the old man.
To me,
He reeks of age and failure.
The mutant is a megalomaniacal evil wizard kind of a character who talks how he cannot be caged while sitting locked up in a police station toilet. This is 4D chess, you understand. He intentionally imprisoned himself so that he can ambush the old man once he comes to check on his pet mutant. I must have skipped a line of dialogue that explains this, but since hearing Elijah's voice makes the subservient dog personality resurface, what's the plan here exactly? All Elijah has to do to put God out of commission is to open his mouth. We can travel with one companion at a time. Everyone else will chill by the fountain.
Picking up signals near your location. Detonators. Watch for traps.
The final team member is a pre-war singer, now a ghoul, who resides in a heavily trapped area of the villa.
Have a seat. Came all this way. Least I can do is let you rest your feet for a second.
Dean Domino has a personal connection to this place. He worked with Sinclair and schemed against his boss even before the bombs fell.
If you're part of all this, you're taking orders from me.
Getting others to respect him is very important for the ghoul. Is this his torment?
Looks like marriage finally caught me.
In order to enter the Sierra Madre, we need to trigger the Gala event. This is phase 2 of the plan.
Why, it's a little doll. Were you carved by a craftsman?
I don't think I've ever seen a character as uncool as God. I'm actually getting some second-hand embarrassment from this. Master Avalon's writing rests on 3 mighty pillars. It's tormented individuals, preferably tortured women, preferably tortured lesbians. It's megalomaniacal characters who talk in metaphors. And Chris really likes putting additional emphasis on important words in dialogue. Words like torment. Indeed, this is the key to the style of Avalon.
Triggering the event is key. And the key.
I'm getting this guy permanently demoted to dog mode.
Where is the food?
Like in the main game, each one of the companions comes with a special ability. Christine can temporarily suppress speakers and radios. Dean gives an immunity to the effect of the toxic cloud. Dog eats fallen bad guys, dismembering them in the process.
So, what's your story, beautiful?
It occurred to me that we still don't know who put Christine in the autodoc. There are high-level medicine checks that are beyond our abilities. I'm not a real doctor yet. This doesn't prevent us from learning more about Christine, who is the most normal person here.
I like to think it was love.
She is cleverly connected with our associate from the Mojave, and by cleverly connected I mean they used to date.
She left the Brotherhood. Wanted to put some distance between herself and her parents.
That's not what happened. Elijah used his authority to break the 2 women apart, although Veronica never learned of this. After being separated from her girlfriend, Christine joined the Circle of Steel, a Black Ops faction in the Brotherhood. She came here to kill the old man. It's personal, you see. She can't let him get away again.
In the end, there was just him and his vision. Nothing and no one else.
Stubborn, obsessed with technology, doesn't know how to communicate in person. Thank you, Chris. It's about time Fallout got an autistic spectrum condition villain in its rogues gallery.
I learned what I don't want to become.
Trust me, you can't. We hold Christine's hand and tell her that we'll get through this. The wiki says there is additional lesbian content for appropriate characters.
But listen, when this thing goes off, try and get into the Sierra Madre without me. You'll wish you hadn't.
He has been plotting this heist since before Elijah was born. After we get everyone in position, our job is to climb the bell tower and initiate the ceremony. The game must have crashed around 24 times in the bell tower area. At one point, the items were starting to disappear from my inventory. It was probably just a display bug, but it got me real scared, because my backup safe is back in the Mojave. Dead money truly is a horror experience. The way into a city of gold is now open. Once we get in, we're hit by some sort of a security system. The team is once again separated.
Thought that might be the end of you.
The second half of the adventure takes place inside the casino. Most of it is inaccessible until we restore the power. There are no ghost people inside. The biggest threat are the holograms and the speakers. The expansion adds a fair number of new armors and weapons, but very few of these will be useful back in the Mojave. The promise of Sierra Madre is wealth, but it's not this kind of wealth. Turning the power on deactivates the hostile holograms and makes the casino systems come online. Yes, the games still work. During the most recent level up, I took a perk that gives us an additional point in luck, raising it to 7. This is enough to absolutely dominate at blackjack. The following footage is presented unedited. Okay. I didn't realize this was possible. 5 aces. I can't shake the feeling that I am being watched. Possessed by the spirit of Johnny 5 Aces, we eventually win too much and are banned from the hologram-operated casino. The Sierra Madre doesn't use bottle caps as currency, so how do we cash out? The Sierra chips can be exchanged for items in these vending machines. You can find recipes to improve the selection. I mostly bought healing items.
No more bees.
Hurry up and deal with the FEV reject. He's of no use to us.
Dog can no longer deal with the torment of having 2 individuals in the same body. He turned on the gas valves in the kitchen, threatening to incinerate himself and half of the casino. This sequence is buggy as hell. The doors automatically seal themselves because of the gas leak, but even when we turn off the gas, they won't get unsealed until we talk to Dog and resolve his torment. This is key. And the key.
Can't hold him back much longer.
And via a series of progressively more complicated skill checks, we reconcile the rival personalities. The skill in question being guns. Mockery. Begin again. The bad news is that the casino is being invaded by the ghost people. But this is the last time we ever see them.
Find the mute and deal with her. She's somewhere on this floor.
The executive suites.
If it's who I think it is, this is Christine.
Christine has her voice back. I suppose it was never gone. She just needed time to recover after the surgery.
Sinclair, is that you? Sinclair? Sinclair, I'm trapped. Please. Oh God, the security systems won't let me out.
The moment when the horror of this game works for real, the desperate cry for help, the last words of a scared and dying woman, recorded by the buggy software to be used as a warning message by the security holograms.
I'm still being recorded by the holographic system. I came so far to be Sinclair.
The woman is Vera Keyes, a starlet. Sinclair fell in love. This whole place, the Sierra Madre, he built it to be her shelter so that she would survive the apocalypse that was on the horizon.
Sinclair!
That is the purpose of it all. The advanced technology, the 3D printers that can create seemingly any kind of item. It is the reason this place is so heavily automated. It was her voice we heard in the Mojave.
To begin again.
Another malfunction caused the ad for the casino's grand opening to be sent across the airwaves rather than the intended rescue broadcast. For centuries, Vera's beautiful voice was luring adventurers to their deaths. The most luxurious room belonged to Mrs. Keyes. Beyond one of the doors is the elevator to the vault. This is where the treasure is. It's locked behind a voice command. The voice needs to be Vera's.
You made it. Good.
Dean Domino put Christine in the autodock to give her Vera's voice.
Don't talk much, do you?
He knew he'll need it to get into the vault. Christine briefly foreshadows the subsequent DLC adventures.
He saw me before the scars at a place far from here.
I also like the fact that the DLCs can have continuity. They don't need to exist in isolation. If I had to picture the DLC series, it would be a limited series in the Fallout universe, spiraling to its final conclusion that brings everything back to the start.
A courier wore an old world flag on his back. He was the one who pulled me out there.
She's talking about a character we won't get to meet until the final expansion. Christine won't be rejoining us as a companion, but that doesn't matter. The courier is never alone. And this is what's left of Mrs. Keyes.
I want a dress.
If that ghoul's still alive, correct that. Or break him.
Domino is hiding in the casino theater. The speaker puzzles are getting more complicated, with pairs of them covering each other. And then we find the blackmail tape.
Dean, about tonight, I don't know.
You don't know? I ask one simple favor of you, and you tell me no.
Domino used Vera to get to Sinclair. He was on a vendetta against the man. Jealousy eating him from the inside. He couldn't let go even after the bombs fell. That is his torment. Fortune has abandoned you the moment I found you. Are you prepared for what is to come? Ghoul. Domino knew about Vera's painkiller addiction, and it is implied that he also had her nudes. Of course, with Dean Domino being 20% smarter than a dog, his schemes were immediately transparent to Sinclair. Heartbroken, he changed this place from a sanctuary to a trap.
And you take a lot more than juggling keys and shooting speakers to stop me.
But not a lot more.
No longer shall you trouble existence with your presence.
Christine is the only character whose well-being I care about. Elijah is finally within reach, but she's not in the condition to confront him.
I know.
If she wants to live, she needs to let go of her vendetta.
Promise me you'll deal with him.
Christine says the passphrase and then leaves the floor.
This is Knight Christine Royce of the Brotherhood. Christine Royce.
She is gonna make it. The legendary Sierra Madre Vault. The final area is short but intense. Speakers found in pairs. A huge room with 3 patrolling holograms. There are clever ways of getting around them by using catwalks. The intermediate goal is to get to this terminal and turn off the vault's security. Using Vera, Domino was planning to rob Sinclair on the eve of the gala event. I love you very much, and whatever possessed you to choose Dean's arm over my hand is beyond me. I hope it leaves you as empty as you left me. As much as you sought what was inside the Sierra Madre, now it will keep you. The door has sealed, the elevator has left, and not even your voice will unlock it. The casino was my gift to you, and you now will be its heart for all time. This is the message recorded by Sinclair for Vera, but it was never sent, because Vera came to Sinclair and confessed about everything. The heist, the blackmail, the photos. And Sinclair forgave her, but he never disabled the trap. It's still there in case the smooth-brained Domino makes it into the vault somehow. It's the message in the terminal. Once read, it seals the vault door forever.
You're in the vault, finally.
And then Elijah looks right at the camera and says, I hate the quest compass in RPGs.
That thing on your wrist, it's a convenience. It tells you where to go, what to do. Dulls your brain.
Thank you for your activism, Chris. Avalon has a fondness for join the bad guy type of an ending. Under certain conditions, it's possible to side with Elijah.
Wipe the slate clean.
Wipe the slate clean.
But why would anyone want to join the bad guy? Elijah doesn't really believe in anything. He hates his political enemies, and that's about it. There is no ethics debate here. He is not offering a vision of the future. He is not a Fallout villain in that sense. Admittedly, Elijah does have a nation-building plan. The Cloud is a weapon of mass destruction under his control. Collars will ensure cooperation. Holograms are a means of defense. The vending machines are 3D printers that make anything.
The Madre is all these things. It's a fortress, a weapon, a chance to begin again.
There are several ways this can go. We can sneak past Elijah. He'll eventually enter the vault, read the trap message left by Sinclair, and get locked inside forever. Poetic justice. But I don't like this plan. It's a mistake to underestimate Elijah's neurodivergent superpowers. I bet he has contingencies, or even knows about the trap. No, we need to take matters into our own hands.
Need to shut those turrets down from up here.
Christine remotely disables the laser turret. Weak the courier may be, but a lot of tricks has the courier learned over the years, and I have known that you would come. Killing Elijah makes the vault explode for some reason. So here is the final conundrum, the Hegelian diuretic of the Sierra Madre. The treasure inside the vault, the gold bars, weigh 35 pounds each. If we take the gold, we get overburdened, lose our ability to run, and then we'll get buried underneath the casino. We need to let go, says Master Avalon. Never let go, says Johnny Five Aces. Thesis and antithesis. So here is the synthesis. First, we take buff out to increase our carrying capacity. Then, we empty our inventory, throwing away everything, including the clothing and the armor, with the exception of Vera's dress. We can only carry 3 gold bars. That's not enough to awaken the world spirit, but hopefully just enough for the medicine stick. And then we run. You've heard stories of the Sierra Madre Casino.
We all have. A bright, shining monument luring treasure hunters to their doom.
A promise of beginnings and the ending.
Dog died hungry, alone, frightened.
He died in the middle of a kitchen, talking to a voice in his head, and he looked real mad too. No part of the sentence is true, Chris.
Dean Domino. Entertainer, singer, thief.
The poor bastard wasn't completely hopeless. There was something in there. His last words were about Vera. I think he loved her. Dean still exists in the Sierra Madre as a singing hologram.
Christine found new purpose as the Sierra Madre's warden.
The game doesn't specify whether she reconnected with the Brotherhood or not. She never spoke. Over time, the ghost people came to see her as one of the holograms. They would watch silently as she walked among them. There is a writing principle called the Rule of 3. The trio of events is more satisfying than other numbers. 3 is the smallest number of elements required to create a pattern, and the brain loves patterns, probably for some Evo Psych reasons. This story uses the Rule of 3 to great effect. We meet a character, we go on a short adventure with a character, and then we resolve the problem that was tormenting them. It feels that we have an intimate understanding of Christine, Domino, and the other guy, even though, in reality, our exposure to them was very brief.
Farewells can be a time of sadness. Letting go. Difficult.
There are several additional rewards waiting for us back in the Mojave. The door to Elijah's little private residence in the abandoned bunker is now open. There is a skill book that provides a permanent bonus to repair. Nice Bethesda physics. By the bed, there is a Sierra Madre vending machine. We can exchange our Sierra chips for items. This essentially means that we have access to an unlimited number of weapon repair kits. The computer contains a message from Elijah to Veronica. We'll deliver it. We are a courier, after all. I am carrying all our normal equipment plus the gold bars. We can't fast travel and will have to walk very slowly to the nearest town to sell all this stuff. So, what do you think the point of it all was? Don't get burdened by the past or it will destroy you, like what happened to Domino. On the other hand, being obsessive kind of worked out for Christine, but she did walk away in the end. Maybe it's about the perfect Clintonian triangulation of getting burdened just the right amount and then letting go of some things. Can this change the nature of a man? Or perhaps these are truisms and we haven't really gained any knowledge about the world. It's just the art of storytelling involves creating patterns to massage your brain with, to make it feel good and satisfied. Maybe that's the point. I wonder what's on the radio.
Sources report the NCR's top ranger, Chief Hanlon, has died in a tragic revolver cleaning accident.
Nothing good. Chris Avalon has the last laugh as the trader in the town of Novak doesn't have enough caps to buy a single gold bar. Fortunately, old lady Gibson, who lives in the scrapyard nearby, turned out to be a secret wasteland oligarch with enough money to buy all of them. Mr. House generously provided us with quarters in the Lucky 38 Tower. The dismissed companions will come chill here.
What's up?
We tell Veronica about what happened to her old mentor.
I didn't expect to see him again. No one did.
She takes it pretty well. And this is the most video games shit. Reading Elijah's message makes Veronica learn a secret karate technique.
Maybe I can use it better than he did.
She gets a major unarmed bonus. This lesbian is going to war. Oh, and I almost forgot.
Hey, a dress. Thank you. I am totally trying this on later.
Don't tell her where we got the dress from.
Welcome, sir or madam.
We still don't have enough money for the medicine stick. We are not even halfway there. Look at that. Dean Domino. He didn't stab us in the back. He was facing us all the time. Patron credits, and then we'll dive deeper into the theory of Avalon. The casino robbery was made possible by our patrons, including Jim Lawrence, Arkellis, Azazel and Baneful the Doggo, Snafu, Dark Bud Pumpkin, Eric Luitgehans. Source is the best engine ever made. Billy Strayhorn, Maciej V, Tony Spagoni, Danny Kilpatrick, 1967 Ford Mustang, Ilya Rubin, Ganso Bomber Motherfucker, Kuzzabi Lover, Yuri Solodovnichenko, Mopo, C6, I Feed My Parrot Chicken, a two-room apartment in Bobruisk, Belarus Alt, Frog, Dmitry Yu, Ray Nurse. So having finished the expansion, what have we learned about the theory of Master Avalon? What is his vision? We know that he likes Fallout 1, although he didn't work on that game. He is critical of Fallout 2, he appreciates Fallout 3 for keeping the series popular. He played Fallout 4 for a few hours and then watched the endings on YouTube, decided he didn't care for it. Chris is more than a little critical of the Fallout show that featured, among other things, an inauthentic version of one of his dead money characters. I never saw Sinclair as an asshole who would purposely murder or harm people in experiments. The reason for all the suffering occurred at the Sierra Madre wasn't due to him, so to see him advocating for cruel experiments on others came completely out of nowhere. But I guess you would have had to have played it and understood it, which would have taken a little research, writes Avalon, being all snarky. It's true though. A curious thing about the game's positive portrayal of Sinclair is that he is one of the super rich. Is it authentic to the spirit of this franchise to make a tycoon a good guy? Was Fallout, as envisioned in Fallout 1, intended to be a powerful political statement about the evils of capitalism? Chris Avalon is asking what he assumes to be a rhetorical question. Nope. How do I know? Because I went to the source and asked. Huh. So this is the end for the capitalism theory of Fallout. Or is it? In aesthetics, that's the philosophy of art, they have something called literary interpretation. It's basically a bunch of philosophers arguing about what the role of the author's intentions are in determining the meaning of a literary work. For many individuals, including, evidently, Chris Avalon, it is intuitive to think that if there is a meaning to an artwork, if an artist is trying to get something across, then it stands to reason we could just ask them what they meant. But a philosopher might object to this. Sure, you can ask, but that won't be analysis. That would be biography. It would seem that anti-intentionalism is a more popular position in literary interpretation, and with RPGs being interactive stories, it makes sense for us to be even more suspicious of intentionalist thinking. Query: was Fallout a political statement about the evils of capitalism, even though its authors didn't intend it to be? Ambiguous answer.
Ah, Freeman. I hear something.